Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are discussing Canto 1st, Chapter 10, verse 31st and 32nd. Evam vidha gadantinam sagiraha purayoshitam nirikshanena avinandana sasmitena yayau harihi. Can chant next also. Ajata Shatru Pitrinam Gopithaya Madhudvishaha Parebhya Shankitaha Snehat Prayungta Chatur Anginim. Okay, so I think word to word meaning we read for text 31. Evam vidaha, in this way, gadantinam, thus praying and talking about him, saha, he, giraha, of words, purayoshitam, of the ladies of the capital, nirikshanena, by his grace of glancing over them, abhinandana, and greeting them, sasmitena, with a smiling face, yayau, departed, harihi, the personality of God. Okay. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. While the ladies of the capital of Hastinapur were greeting him and talking in this way, the Lord, smiling, accepted their good greetings and casting the grace of his glance over them, he departed for the city. Next verse I'll read translation. Maharaj Yudhishthir, although no one's enemy, engaged 4 divisions of defense to accompany Lord Krishna, the enemy of Asuras. The Maharaj did this because of enemy and also out of affection for Lord. Oh. Yeah, Krishna is going. So, yeah, I'll start here now. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Shunum Letam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, Krishna is departing Hastinapur. He's going to Dwarka. And this is not the first time he's out of Dwarka. Because oh, you can't hear. So this is not the first time he departed from Dwarka, because it's said in Bhagavatam, if we read properly, that Krishna used to leave Dwarka many times. He used to go to Vrindavan. In between, he went to Vrindavan many times, and also he had correspondence, regular correspondence with Vrindavan. He used to write letters to Brajvasis, and those letters are also recorded, not in Bhagavatam but in other books of Acharyas. And because there was no email at that time, of course. So what they used to do is they used to send horses. So if first horse is going with a letter, then simultaneously next horse will go. So 4 horses were there, 4 or 5, who were like rotating. So continuous information was being transferred. That was the system that time. So Krishna now was leaving Hastinapur. Of course, I think this is after battlefield. So after Battle of Kurukshetra, Krishna stayed at Hastinapur on the request of Yudhishthira Maharaj, and for some days more to give them association. But now anyway he had to go, because back in Dwarka devotees are waiting for him. Krishna Krishna must please everybody, that's his job. He has to please gopis, he has to please Dwarkavasi, he has to please Vrajvasi. So he has to be very careful that none of his devotees become displeased or dissatisfied. And Prabhupada says that God can do. He can do that. And moreover, Satyabhama and Rukmani, they had written letters to Krishna that please come back. So here in 2 verses, the sentiments of ladies of Hastinapur and the sentiments of Maharaj Yudhishthira are described. Bhagavatam is all about sentiments because it is Paramahamsa Shastra. Other scriptures are all about Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. But Bhagavatam is all about sentiments for Krishna. And that is devotional service, of course. Devotional service to do with thinking, feeling and willing for Krishna. Srila Prabhupada tells. So how they are feeling. When we read Bhagavatam, we must probe into the feelings of devotees. And that's what is Nectar of Devotion all about. And when we probe into feeling of these devotees, those feelings will come in us. This is the method of devotional service. You hear about Krishna and his devotees, you try to understand their feelings, and that feelings will come into you. And that is why if you read 11th canto, Krishna says to Uddhav, Uddhav, the most powerful thing, the most powerful one thing which you can get devotion is association of devotees. So what happens in association of devotees? It's not just information transfer. It is transfer of conviction. Just like Prabhupada. Prabhupada was speaking so simple stuff. At least externally, no. You're not so, your soul, you're not this body. That's all. But if we hear Prabhupada lectures, there's a difference. Now, devotees, we have many points to speak. But Prabhupada, one point. And still people were listening to him. And even now we hear, and there's a difference. We feel that difference. Why? Because he is giving us conviction. One of the lecture of Prabhupada I was hearing, and at the end of the lecture, Prabhupada says that if you serve Krishna purely, Krishna will be in your fist. Prabhupada says like that. So, how can you say that without a conviction? You can't make a statement like that. So that's what is Prabhupada. By devotees association we get conviction, and second thing we get is relishment. That feelings for Krishna, which you can't get by books, which we can't just get by books. That's not possible. So what is Bhagavatam helping us to do? Bhagavatam is recounting pastimes of devotees so that we can understand how they are feeling for Krishna, how they are thinking of Krishna, and then we can start to aspire to attain that platform. So how are ladies of Hastinapur feeling? So here it is described. While the ladies of capital of Hastinapur greeting him and talking in this way, the Lord smiling accepted their good greetings. So the ladies were, the word here is Abhinandan. Abhinandan means greeting. And that is what is Vaishnavism all about. So there are 6 offenses, 6 Vaishnava offenses. What's that? Anybody knows? This is Hanti, Nindanti, Dvaishtiva. That is to beat a Vaishnava. That's offense. To criticize a Vaishnava, Nindanti. Hanti, Nindanti, Dvaishtiva. To be envious of a Vaishnava. And that you understand. Okay, this is okay. Good, you can understand its offense. But the next line is funny. Na Nindanti. Not to greet a Vaishnava, that's offense. What do I do? I mean to say, if a devotee comes and if your frequency doesn't match with him, and so that's offense. Na Vinandanti. If you see a Vaishnava and if you don't become happy, that's an offense. That's offense. Many times you don't like a devotee Practically, as a devotee means sometimes you don't like. But that's offense. If you see a devotee, if you don't become happy, that's offense. So, when I read that first, I thought that's impossible. How every devotee we meet, we don't become happy, but we are supposed to become happy. Anybody who is having tilak on his head, on his forehead, if you see that person, you must become happy, at least artificially. So you have to greet devotees. That's what here this word Abhinandan is there. You have to greet devotees and Krishna, both. So the ladies of Dwarka, they were greeting Krishna. When Krishna was going, they were coming, presenting gifts, and they were greeting Krishna by their glances. That is also one kind of devotional service. Krishna is glancing over them, and they were glancing Krishna. They were standing like Krishna. You know this scene, Krishna is standing on the chariot. There's a photograph. And Satyaki and all those, they're fanning. Kunti Maharani, they're all standing down. All of the Dwarka, Hastinapur Vasis, they're all around. And these females, what they're doing? These ladies, they are seeing Krishna. This is their devotional service. So sometimes devotional service is just seeing Krishna. That's also service, no? It's like gopis. When Krishna used to go to Vrindavan, or when Krishna used to come from Vrindavan to back to his home, Nandgaon, so all these gopis, they were standing on the rooftop of their houses and they were seeing Krishna. So they were worshipping Krishna by their glance. That's also kind of worship. If you go to Vrindavan, devotees are worshipping Krishna by playing with him, his friends. Some devotees are worshipping Krishna by fighting with him. Like Bhishma, his worship for Krishna is to shoot on him arrows. That's his worship. And Shankaracharya, his worship is to destroy devotion. So, what's going on? The best mode of worship is chanting Hare Krishna. That's of course true. But advanced devotees, many advanced devotees, they have more different kind of services. For Arjuna, devotional service was to kill other Kauravas. For Bhishma, devotional service is to kill Krishna. That's what he wanted to do. Of course, he didn't want to do, but externally shooting arrows. So everything is service. Devotion is service. Devotion is service in a way to make Krishna happy. Because sometimes we can serve Krishna, but we can serve devotees without making them happy, no? Sometimes it happens like that. Sometimes we say, okay, we have done our service, we have done our part. So who cares, what they feel? That's the problem. Devotional service is not just service. Devotional service is anukulena krishnanushilanam. It is, the idea is to make the other person happy. So, these ladies of Hastinapur, they are trying to make Krishna happy by seeing him. And what Krishna is doing, Nirikshanena vinandan sasmitena yayau hari. Krishna is glancing back to them and Krishna is trying to make them happy. So that's what Narad Muni says in Narad Bhakti Sutra. Tat sukhitva sukhitvam. Devotees give happiness to Lord and Lord gives happiness to his devotees. That's what is devotion all about. It's simple. It's simple. But sometimes simple is not simple. No? For people who are complex like us, it's not simple. Prabhupada says devotional service is very simple. Simply love Krishna. There's one statement, that's all. And Prabhupada says in that lecture, in one lecture Prabhupada says simply love Krishna, and he says don't try to understand Krishna. He says this. So what do? I mean to say, you don't read Bhagavatam, you don't read anything or what? In many other lectures Prabhupada says try to understand Krishna. So this is a contradiction. If you read Prabhupada's lectures and conversations, there are many contradictions. So how do you reconcile this contradiction? Many devotees are in the camp. There's one camp who says, don't try to understand Krishna. No philosophy. Chant, be happy, love him. There's another camp who says, no, philosophy is important, and by understanding philosophy you develop love for Krishna. And Prabhupada quotes both. So how do you reconcile that? Any idea? How do you reconcile that? Yeah.
If you can simply chant, then chant, but most people can't.
No, my question is something different. My question is, Prabhupada's, some lecture he says, simply love Krishna, don't try to understand him. And many of his lecture he says, first understand Krishna, how great he is. So how do you reconcile both statements? They seem contradictory.
In the context, you also said to understand the context.
Okay, that may be the point, to understand the context. But without context, can you reconcile? Just two statements. That's all.
The gopis were told by the acharyas they understand Krishna best, but they're praying they don't understand Krishna. So, the more we understand, the less we feel.
Yes, but there are many devotees who say it's not necessary. Simply love Krishna. That's the idea. That's happening now. So what do you do with that? And there are quotations of Prabhupada. So actually Prabhupada answers himself. In one of his conversations, Prabhupada solves this mystery. And Prabhupada says, I've quoted that also, I've put that quotation with me. Prabhupada says, yes, simply love Krishna, don't try to understand him. This means that try to understand Krishna, how much he has told you. That's all. Because we love him, we want to understand what he wants to tell us. No, that's love. So that much is enough. So Prabhupada says, that is why for devotees, for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Gita and Bhagavatam is enough. How much is revealed to you by Krishna, you try to understand that. When Prabhupada says, don't try to understand Krishna, that means don't apply your mind, Whatever Krishna has said, that's enough, Don't search in Vedas and all these things, who is Krishna, and then you'll end up in problem. That's what Prabhupada says in that lecture. So Prabhupada says, we love him. Whatever he speaks, we accept it gladly. And we want to understand that gladly, out of love. So understanding philosophy is also love. It's not that either you read philosophy or you simply love him. That's a wrong dichotomy. Understanding philosophy is love. Because we want to understand everything about Krishna. His pastimes, his names, his forms, his teachings. And in fact, Prahlad Maharaj, in Bhagavatam, Prabhupada says, Prahlad Maharaj, he's instructing demons, his friends, and he's telling them, my dear friends, you're wasting your life, and so many things. So, why Prahlad Maharaj? He's speaking such basic things. A devotee of that caliber is speaking such basic things. Doesn't he get bored of? And that's the point, if you're always speaking that. Prabhupada is speaking so basic things, entire life. Doesn't he get bored of? Prabhupada went to Madras, and in Madras, some devotees, Madras, it happened in Chennai, I think so. In Chennai, he went to big businessman, and Prabhupada went, and those business people, they were asking, that couple, they were asking Prabhupada, please speak about Krishna, his pastimes, and about Vrindavan. Prabhupada said no. And then, because they were big donators, so they were requesting, and devotees were feeling embarrassed, they are requesting, and Prabhupada was denying, no. And finally, they became mad, they were asking Prabhupada, we want to hear about Krishna. You're a saint and you should speak about Krishna and his pastimes. So Prabhupada finally told, you can speak about Krishna, as far as I am concerned, I am not qualified. Prabhupada said, now the point is, a person who is speaking, entire life he is speaking about soul and body, even in the final pastime, if you see those videos, Prabhupada is commenting on 10th canto. And what Prabhupada is speaking? Please be clean. shave your hairs regularly. 10th canto commentary. You can imagine if we were there if we were there instead of Prabhupada, 10th canto commentary we would have spoken some kind of nectar, but Prabhupada didn't do. The question is not that why didn't he do. The question is how could he speak his entire life such basic things. That's the question. Doesn't he get bored of? Prabhupada didn't have secret books in his locker, Govind Lila Amrit and pastime books, so that in the night he'll take out and read, and then it was not like that. He didn't have those books. So the point was how he could speak such basic things in their life, because he loved Krishna. And when he was speaking, you're not your soul, you're not this body. He was remembering Krishna. These are Krishna's words. And Krishna's words and Krishna is one. So speaking philosophy is love. Because in devotion, speaking philosophy is repeating words of Krishna. In devotion, speaking philosophy is not mental speculation. We're not trying to do something gymnastics here, trying to understand Krishna, Vedas and Upanishads. No, we are repeating Krishna's words, that's all. So that is why the point is that if you love Krishna, you will understand his philosophy, whatever he tells us. And when we understand the philosophy, that is actually, we speak and understand philosophy, that is exhibition of a love for Krishna. So that's what is happening here. The ladies of Hastinapur, they love Krishna. And their method to express love is to see him. And our method to express love is to chant Hare Krishna. We can't do like them. To see Krishna is worship, so from today we will be going to continuously see Krishna. We are not supposed to do that. That's not the order. To us order is, you have to chant Hare Krishna. That's the method of worship. If Krishna would come, if suppose Krishna comes today to you, he comes here, and he says, see, never chant Hare Krishna. What are you supposed to do? We don't chant. So then our devotional service would be never to chant Hare Krishna. We'll not chant. We'll even close our ears if somebody chants Hare Krishna, because that's Krishna's order. He wants us from that, no? So we have to understand this point. That's where Rupa Goswami says, Anukulena Krishnanushīlanam. That is devotion. To serve Krishna as he wants, not to serve Krishna as we want. There's a difference. You can serve him. So the ladies of Hastinapur, they know that if they see Krishna, Krishna will be happy. Just like gopis. Prabhupada says in Krishna book, Krishna played flute, gopis went to meet Krishna. Why? Why did they meet Krishna? Any idea? Why did they go to meet Krishna? At night? Why? The question is, why gopis went to Krishna when he was playing flute in the night in Vrindavan? And why didn't gopis go to Krishna when he went to Mathura? Mathura is how much far? 10 kilometers? They could have easily gone. But nobody went. Nobody went to meet him. And when he went to Dwarka, they could have made a trip easily. But they didn't go. Why they didn't go? That's a question. Any answers for this?
Krishna didn't ask them to.
Okay, yeah. So Krishna played flute. He called gopis. So that was their service, to respond to his call. But when he went to Dwarka and Mathura, he didn't call gopis. So they didn't go and meet him. So they were not going to meet Krishna for their own enjoyment. They went to meet Krishna because that was their worship. That was their mode of worship. Krishna wanted that. So these devotees who are in Bhagavatam, they understand the mind of God. Devotional service is all about to understand mind of Krishna. of course, we are not so elevated to understand that. That is why we need spiritual master. We need instructions. Okay, now you chant Hare Krishna. Krishna wants that. That's what is the point. But as we advance, we'll understand what is the mind of God. Prabhupada says in one of the lectures that as you advance, you will enter mind of God. And you will understand what He desires, what He wants, how He thinks, how He feels. And Krishna consciousness is not just about we thinking about Krishna. The perfection of Krishna consciousness is Krishna thinking about us. That's a perfection. Prabhupada says in one of his lectures. But that will happen when we understand His mind. People are interested to see His form, His qualities, but we are interested to see His mind. That's all devotion all about, to fulfill desires of God. The desires are in mind of God. This is a secret. This is the secret of gopis. So if you understand His mind, you can understand everything about Him. If you don't understand His mind, you don't understand anything. You don't understand form, you don't understand pastimes. And His mind is... How do you understand mind of Krishna? Where is His mind? Bhagavad Gita. That's His mind, no? Bhagavad Gita is not a book. He has opened His mind to us. Okay, this is what I think, Arjun. Yeah, this is my opinion. This is what I think. My thoughts work like that. So we are reading Gita, we are penetrating mind of Krishna. That's how we read Bhagavad Gita. And that's love, no? So reading Gita is love. Because love means you are trying to understand that person. That's what is love about, no? Girlfriend, boyfriends. The girlfriend is trying to understand boyfriend, what he wants, what are his emotions. Boyfriend is trying to understand girlfriend, and then they are trying to live together, reciprocate. So that question is solved. Should you read Bhagavad Gita philosophy or should you simply love Krishna? Well, reading Bhagavad Gita is love because you are trying to understand Him. And Bhagavad Gita is how Krishna thinks, that you can understand. Bhagavatam is how Krishna feels. That's Bhagavatam. And Chaitanya Charitamrita?
Where Krishna
Acts.
What Krishna wants.
Yeah. And Chaitanya Charitamrita is, what he wants. Bhagavatam is how he feels about his devotees. And Chaitanya Charitamrita is how he feels as a devotee. He comes as a devotee. How he feels about this word. That's Chaitanya Charitamrita, because that's preaching, He came to preach. So, Gita is his thoughts. Bhagavatam is his pastimes, and Chaitanya Charitamrita is his mercy. That's how we divide these three books. And if you understand these three books, then you understand who is Krishna in full. Satyam param dhimahi. That's what Bhagavatam starts. That absolute truth. So, that's what... These ladies are very advanced. They know when Krishna is leaving Hastinapur, Krishna wants them to see him. And that's why they are seeing Krishna. Not because I want to see Krishna. That's not the point there. Spiritual word is... We can't understand spiritual word by logic. It's just by love. And what Krishna is doing, Krishna is glancing his grace, casting his glance. Krishna is reciprocating. They are worshipping Krishna by glance. Krishna is serving them by glance. Simple. If you worship Krishna by offering food, Krishna will serve you by offering prasad. Simple, no? You give food, you get food. You give glance, you get glance. You give Hare Krishna mantra to Krishna, what do you get? Back Hare Krishna. If you give Hare Krishna mantra to Krishna, he'll give you Hare Krishna mantra back. Because when you chant nicely for pleasure of Krishna, you want to chant more. Simple. So he's giving you Hare Krishna back, he's inspiring, okay, chant more. That's my blessings. So this is feelings of the ladies. This is how ladies worship Krishna. How Yudhishthira Maharaj worships him. That is the next verse. the method of worship of Yudhishthira Maharaj is very different. Yudhishthira Maharaj is worshipping Krishna by giving him security. That's his method of worship. Prabhupada says in Nectar of Devotion that there's that friendship with Krishna, no? That's Sakhya. So Prabhupada defines friendship as one who is in mood of friendship with Krishna. They want to actually safeguard Krishna. Friendship is all about helping God, not taking help from God. And that kind of thing Jnanis cannot understand. You know this Vivekanand?
Yes.
You know Vivekanand? You know, in India? Yeah, Bengali, India, famous. Prabhupada criticizes him a lot. So he traveled all over India and he went to all temples. He was a Jnani, a yogi. And then he told these devotees are foolish people. He couldn't understand what's happening. He really couldn't understand. He saw that these devotees are dancing, they are eating. What kind of yogis they are? They have to fast, they have to do austerities. And then, so in his book, he criticized Vaishnavas a lot. And then Prabhupada criticizes him in his lectures. He's a nonsense rascal. In his books, he wrote that there's no need to worship Tulsi because it doesn't help us. There's no food. So better plant bangan, brinjal.
Eggplant.
At least you will get brinjal, He was a real offender. So he could understand, the method of worship he could never understand that the idea of devotion is to help God, not to take help from Him. This is a bizarre concept. If you preach this concept to ordinary person, he'll say, what the hell you're talking, You have to help God? How can you help God? He's omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent. But here Yudhishthira Maharaj is trying to help Krishna. He is sending horses, elephant, chariots, army to accompany Lord Krishna. Maharaj did this because of the enemy and also out of affection for the Lord. Krishna was enough. But he sent so many horses, elephants, security with him because he was apprehensive something will happen to Krishna. Of course, and Sukadeva Goswami, he uses this word here. The enemy of demons, Krishna who killed so many demons just by like this. And the Yudhishthira Maharaj is worrying, what will happen to my Krishna? This is love. This is called as love. So love cannot be understood by logic. If you apply logic here, then you can keep on arguing. Yudhishthira Maharaj is mad. What he's doing, Krishna is maintaining entire world and who is doing everything. And Yudhishthira Maharaj knows he's God. He knows he's God. He knows. Yudhishthira Maharaj might have definitely heard about Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. With one just one flick, he killed so many demons. Srinavarth, Putna, no problems. Govardhan, like Jarasandh, 18 Akshoni Sena, he just finished in 2 minutes. So who can do anything for Krishna? But still he wants to give security to Krishna. Why? Out of love. So love cannot be understood. That's impossible. So how to get this love? How to come to this platform? Prabhupada explains in Nectar of Devotion. Why a devotee is fearful that something will happen to Krishna? Why love is so illogical? So Prabhupada explains in Nectar of Devotion, if you read nicely, in first few chapters, Prabhupada explains that when a person loves Krishna, what is love? Love means service attitude, no? Love means service. Love means you want to give all. Prabhupada says, make Krishna happy in all respects. In all respects. From all angles, we have to make Krishna happy. That is love. So we want to satisfy Krishna. And when the devotee wants to give him happiness, when he wants to serve him, then you know what Prabhupada says? That service mood is so intense that he forgets that he's dealing with God. And this is normal, to say. This is very natural. If a wife is there, her husband is Prime Minister. That's okay. But when he comes home, No Prime Minister, sit down. And he has to sit down. She knows that he's Prime Minister, but in house, no Prime Minister, nothing. You're my husband. So similarly in Vrindavan, it's not that devotees forget that he's God. Yeah, they don't care. It's very two different things, because many people say Vrindavan devotees, they forget he's God. They don't forget. They don't have time to think that he's God. They don't have time. Actually, this is the exact statement what Prabhupada uses. They don't have time. We don't have time. We are fully focused to give happiness to Krishna. We don't want to even think he's God. Why do waste energy thinking he's God? If you think he's God, then you spend time in thinking he's God. Then you waste time. We don't serve him, no. That's Vrindavan. So if you want to attend Vrindavan, what's the qualification? I told. What's the qualification? No, I just told. Intense service attitude. Your focus to give happiness to Krishna should be so intense that you don't have time to consider whether Krishna is God or not. That is what is Vrindavan. So we're not going back to Vrindavan if our service attitude is extremely intense. So that we have to practice. We have to practice that. And that is, Maharaj Yudhishthira is at that platform. He is fully focused. My Krishna should be happy. So he is worrying, something will happen to Krishna, what to do. So he's giving security out of love. That is love. That is love. So, to say, wife knows, husband can cook himself. But she doesn't say, okay, I'm resting, cook yourself. That is love, That is love. Husband comes late night, I'm tired. So that wife will say, my dear, I love you so much. By my mind, soul and all activities. But I'm tired, cook yourself. Is that love? That's nonsense, no? So, you're focused. And that is why Prabhupada said, serve Krishna, preach about him. That is what I was talking about, take risks. Because when you take risk, your service attitude will become very intense. It has to become intense. You're forced to serve him. And that's what we are doing here. All this temple, this association, book distribution, prasadam, it's all to intensify our service attitude. That's all we are trying to do here. And when it becomes 100%, that one day we don't have time even to consider who is Krishna. We're just focused. My Krishna should be happy. We're going back to him. That's all. That day he will come and take us back to Vrindavan. But now he's not coming to take us back to Vrindavan because you're not at that platform. But no problem, you're not at that platform, no problem. We can understand about these devotees and try to advance in devotion. And Prabhupada writes there in purport. Prabhupada writes there, Lord Krishna himself was sufficient to defend himself from attack of others who counted Lord as the enemy. But still he accepted all arrangements by Maharaj Yudhishthira. And Krishna is so nice. Krishna knows what this army is going to do with what this. When Jarasandh came, you know how much army he had? How much army was there in Kurukshetra, Battle of Kurukshetra? How many people? There were 18 Akshonis army. 18 Akshoni means so in English you can translate Akshoni as battalion. Battalion. So you call like that here? Battalion. So there were 18 battalions, and in one battalion there are some 2 lakh soldiers, 26,000 something horses, 26,000 something elephants, and thousands of chariots, and you multiply by 18. You can imagine how many people were there in Kurukshetra. So there were 11 battalions with Kauravas and 9 with Pandavas. So this was total 18, no? Oh, sorry, I got it wrong. How much there were? 9 and
Yeah, 11.
11 and 7, okay. Yeah, 11 and 7. 18. So that was, they were facing each other, fighting. When Jarasandh came to attack Krishna, you know how many people were there to fight? 18 battalions fighting with Krishna. You can imagine. And they surrounded...
Against Krishna.
Yeah, against Krishna. 18 battalion against Krishna. So many people. And Krishna, when Krishna came out of his Dwarka, his Mathura, to fight, all his army was there with him. And when they saw these Jarasandh and all these 18 battalion, and Krishna told, attack. Nobody is there inside. It's all mentioned in Harivansh. It's so dramatic. You can make a Hollywood movie on that. I was thinking. I mean, people make Spartan and, this 300 stupid movies, you can make on Krishna. And no.
The original Spartan.
Yeah. So Krishna told attack and nobody was there. And only Krishna was there and Balram was standing. And Krishna told, no problem. I'll handle it. And then Indra sent his chariot to Krishna. It came. And then Balram's that hull, what's that called? Plow. It came. And within 5 minutes, everybody was finished. 5 minutes. That was also too much. Nobody could see what was happening. They could just see that necks were severed, hands were severed. Nobody could see what's happening. Where is Krishna? Nobody knows. So that's Krishna. And so Krishna knows, what Yudhishthira Maharaj is giving, how many horses, how many elephants, how many chariots. A small security. He could have said, who cares for this? Who cares for this? But Krishna reciprocated. Krishna accepted all arrangements from Maharaj Yudhishthira because Prabhupada says he could not disobey the king. Why? Because he was not only king, he loved him. You can't disobey. You can't disobey if somebody gives with love, no. You can't disobey that. So Krishna is like that. If you love him, he will accept even small offering. If you don't love him, then he's God. Then I don't need what you're giving me. Nonsense. Because Lakshmi, Sahasra, Sambhava, so many Lakshmis are serving him. So that is devotion. With devotion, you can reciprocate with him. There is no other way, because all other processes, they consider Krishna as God. There is no reciprocation. He will not accept anything. He doesn't need that. He's not in that mood. So love, Prabhupada says, love can control Krishna. Love can make Krishna do what he doesn't want to do. Krishna doesn't want to surrender to anybody. He's God. But love will make him surrender. So Prabhupada in his lecture he says, Mayavadis want to become one with God. But we want to become father of God. We want to control him. What is better? You want to become one or you want to control him? So Nand Baba, he used to ask Krishna, bring my slippers in Krishna book. And Krishna is small baby and he's taking that heavy slippers on his head and he's bringing. Krishna book, Prabhupada says, gopis were telling Krishna, dance. And he's dancing. Krishna sit. He's sitting. This is Vrindavan. They're controlling Krishna through love. And Krishna is reciprocating by being controlled. So, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, this material world is ulta of... ulta means? Perverted. Yeah. This material word is perverted reflection of spiritual word. So, spiritual word is upright and material word is inverted image. So that's spiritual word. That's Vaikuntha. But what is Golok? Golok is again inverted. If you go to Golok, it's again inverted. This 180 degree inverted, that is 360 degrees inverted. So everything is going something bizarre in Vrindavan. But whatever is happening there, it's due to service, intense service of Krishna. He is reciprocating. And Prabhupada says, that is the transcendental Leela pastime of Lord. Lord plays part of subordinate in his transcendental sporting, and thus sometimes he puts himself in the care of Yashodama for his protection. If you read Bhagavatam 10th canto, it's so nice. Krishna is going in lap of Yashodama. Yashoda calls, Krishna is going, why? Krishna is sometimes weeping. Why is doing all this kind of stuff? Just to make Yashoda happy. He's running out of fear and she wants to die. Just as devotees' entire focus is to give pleasure to Krishna, Krishna's entire focus is to give pleasure to his devotees. And that is Vrindavan. That is Gopi. So if you want to become Gopi, you don't have to meditate on a female. That's what people do. I am Gopi. And once many years back I went to Vrindavan, Radhakund, and there was one American a little. So you know what he was doing? He was standing on one leg, and he was. So what are you doing? And then he said, "I'm a peacock." I'm a peacock. My guru told I'm a peacock in Vrindavan, so I'm practicing.
You saw this?
Huh? Yeah, I saw this. I asked him, what are you doing? And this is not unusual. In Vrindavan, it's like that. Guru tells that you're Gopi, so he will act like Manjari. He'll act like Gopi. In mind, that is Sarupa, no? Guru reveals. And then he will practice as Manjari in his mind. So we're not supposed to do all this kind of stuff. The point is, we are not the chooser. This is basic ABCD of devotion. We can't choose that we want to become Manjari. That is a materialistic tendency, no? We are receiver. So that is why Prabhupada says, you become servant, you serve Krishna. Krishna will choose what to make you there. You don't choose. Whatever department is empty, he'll put you there. Wherever you're required, no? If you're required as friend, he will make you friend. If you're required as servant, he'll make you servant. If you're required as grass, he'll make you grass. We can't choose, I want to become grass, I want to become Manjari. That's foolish concept. So, our Sarupa will reveal. That's why Prabhupada said no so many times. You rascal, don't try to ask about a Sarupa. And I was thinking when I read. So Prabhupada says in Lilamrit, no? I think Malkrishna asked him, what is my Sarupa? And Prabhupada says, you're a rascal, that's your Sarupa. And I was thinking, when I read first, that maybe because they are foreigners, Prabhupada is not telling them. Many people think like that. That's why they go to Gaudiya Math. Because they were not ready, but when they advance, Guru is supposed to reveal Sarupa, and after sometimes it will happen like that. But then I understood, actually Prabhupada is not cheating us. That's the fact that Sarupa, we are not supposed to choose what we are. Krishna will reveal to us what we are. We are here to become good servants. That's all. Then he'll call, okay, come and serve me in this capacity. That is devotion. If you apply common sense, it looks devotion, no? If you're choosing I am this, that's not devotion. That is shopping, shopping in spiritual world. I want to become this, I want to become that. Then Guru says, okay, you want to become Gopi? I bless you. From today you're Gopi. No, first we have to understand devotion. Basic principle of all transcendental exchanges between Lord and his devotees is exhibited to enjoy a transcendental bliss for which there is no comparison, even up to the level of Brahmananda. So these two verses, they're so nice. Bhagavatam is so nice. Bhagavatam helps us to understand love. That's when you read this book, don't try to find points. You'll miss the point. Try to find how these devotees love Krishna, what are their feelings. Try to understand that, and slowly we'll also understand what is devotion. What do you mean by service? That's what we have to do. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Earlier you mentioned in the beginning about Krishna leaving Mathura and Dwarka, going back to Vrindavan at times.
Yeah.
And in other places we see Prabhupada says Krishna never left Vrindavan in the first place.
Yeah.
Can you explain it?
Yeah, Prabhupada said Krishna never left Vrindavan. So, when Krishna left Vrindavan, when Krishna was just about to cross the border of Vrindavan with a Krur, Vrindavan divided into two. And Krishna also divided into two. And one Krishna was there in one Vrindavan which was unmanifest. And the manifested Vrindavan, the other Krishna, he just left. So there were two parallel, there was, what can we say, multi-dimensional world, like that, something like that. So 2 dimensions. Vrindavan exists in 2 dimensions. So that's why he's there and he's not there. Aprakat Leela and Prakat Leela, all those things. So when Uddhav came to meet Radha in Vrindavan, and she was very sad, and Uddhav said, why you're sad? You have to meditate on Krishna. You meditate and all sadness will go. Because Uddhav was he was like a philosopher. So gopis told Uddhav, my dear Uddhav, I think you forgot the ways. Maybe you're going somewhere else. Somehow you landed in Vrindavan. What the hell you're talking? We have to meditate on Krishna? This is nonsense. You want to forget him. That's what they told. So, but then Uddhav was saying, what's happening? He couldn't really understand Vrindavan. He couldn't understand what's happening. So then he saw, by mercy of Krishna, that there was Radha and there was Krishna. Both of them together. So he could see a Prakat Leela. Externally in Prakat Leela they were unhappy. In Aprakat Leela they are happy. How do these two things go together? We can't understand. It's a multi-dimensional world. So that's how we have to understand that we can't understand. We can't.
The question about I'd always heard that we have this particular Swarup that's eternal, but then sometimes you hear you can change, and you were saying that
you can change what? You can change what?
You can change your position in the spiritual world, and you were saying you just go where Krishna wants you. Is that? I've never heard that, so I was just wondering.
It's common sense. We are not supposed to choose anything. I mean to say, choosing is a materialistic tendency. If we understand simply by common sense, we are not the chooser. If we go back to spiritual world, we are not going to say, Krishna, I want this, I want this. We are going to say, Krishna, whatever you give, I want to receive. That's devotion, no. That's mercy. So, in fact, when we get liberated, Krishna will give us whatever we deserve. Okay? So, we might have 4 forms in spiritual world. It's not just one form. We might have form of gopi, we might have form of cow, we might have form of grass. Simultaneously, that's liberation. Liberation means beyond space and time. It's a very big thing. Beyond space and time means you can be there at one moment in many places. We are restricted in space and time, no? Liberated. That's Krishna. Krishna is beyond space and time, so he can expand so many forms. So, for example, Nimbarkacharya, he has 5 forms in spiritual world. He's Chakra, that's usual, Nimbarka. He's Chakra, Sudarshan Chakra. He's a cow of Krishna. He's also a friend of Krishna. He's also Gopi of Krishna, and he's also Manjari. And he's also demigod. He exists in all those capacities. So liberation is not a small thing. Liberation is, we can't even imagine what's liberation. We are liberated. We are liberated, out of beyond space and time. We are free to do anything. That's liberation. So that's Krishna will decide. We can't decide that. It's beyond our decision. That's why Prabhupada said, "You rascal, understand that." And that's a deep meaning. Prabhupada said that you can't choose. He was trying to choose, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, when he was mentioning, what am I? Maybe this. Prabhupada said, "You're a rascal." That's our rascal tendency. We want to choose. No, just depend. Serve him. He will give you whenever we are ready. That's the safest path, no? If we choose, and if we choose wrong thing, we'll land in problems, no? So better Krishna. And that makes sense, no? That makes a lot of sense. And that gives relief also, We don't have to become Manjari and Gopi and try to do all these things. It doesn't help. That's what my understanding was. People might differ, but my understanding, and it is satisfying to me because there is no sense gratification here. There is just service. And you depend on the mercy of God. Surrender, that's surrender. No, surrender to me. And Krishna, you decide.
if I may, there's one quote by Bhaktivedanta in the Brahma Samhita where he's explains that all the residents of Vrindavan follow in the mood of the cowherd damsels of Braj, surrendered servants.
Yeah, he says that.
Their particular position in the Leela is determined by the internal potency, not by themselves.
Oh, he says in Brahma Samhita?
Yeah.
On that line? Yeah, perhaps, definitely. He had said so many times all these things, he made it clear. In fact, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, he was at Radha Kund and Bhakti Santa was giving lectures and Bhakti Santa was making the same point. Don't choose. It will be revealed. And Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, in his mind he thought that probably Bhakti Santa Saraswati Maharaj, he doesn't know. He's not advanced. He got a doubt. He frankly admitted afterwards, I got a doubt and I was thinking he's not that advanced. And the Babaji who was living there, who was giving Sarupa, he's more advanced. So then he went to him, he heard him for 3-4 days, just to see. But after 3-4 days he could understand that Babaji, he writes that Babaji was trying to go to spiritual world. But Bhakti Santa came from spiritual world. And he could understand what Bhakti Santa is saying. That he knows what he's saying. He's come from spiritual world. These people are trying to understand spiritual world. They are new people. Doesn't happen like that. In fact, if you read Vallabh Sampradaya, they also talk about Sarupa, Raganuga. So Vallabhacharya writes, there's one devotee Surdas, a devotee of Vallabhacharya. He writes, he sings for Krishna. Krishna, please engage me in your service and whatever service you require in spiritual world, put me there. That's the best thing, no? You use me wherever you require me. I don't want to become something and become a headache for you. That's not the point. So he'll decide. Then it becomes perfect. We decide service. He decides what we want. Yes, bro.
Two questions. One, can you explain the difference in mood of those who live in Vaikuntha and those who live in heavenly planets and are still following Krishna's instructions?
Heavenly planets?
Like demigods, they also.
Oh, demigods.
And then those who live in Goloka.
Oh yeah, actually in spiritual world, people who live, they consider him as God. In heavenly planets also they consider him as God. You can't go to heavenly planets if you're not clear Krishna is supreme. But the difference is in heavenly planets, most of the demigods, not all, they have some desire. Either desire for happiness or peace. That's what I was talking. They have some desire for happiness. They want happiness from Krishna. But in Vaikuntha, they don't have even desire for happiness and peace. They don't have any desire. So that's the difference. But both consider him as Vishnu, Narayan, supreme. They're in that mood. But in Golok, they don't even consider Krishna as supreme. That's the difference. Golok is supreme. When you fall down from Golok, you come to Vaikuntha. That's also said. When you fall down from Golok, you come to Vaikuntha. But that's a very big statement. It's not for all of us. We don't know even Vaikuntha, Vaikuntha is a big thing for all of us. Yeah.
Can you explain more like what happens in Vaikuntha versus what happens in Goloka Vrindavan?
Well, it's all there, recorded.
Activities.
It's all there recorded, no? Vishnu, Lakshmi in Vaikuntha, and it's all official. But it's nice. It's not that Vaikuntha is not nice and Goloka is only nice. It's not that. Vaikuntha is... People who are in Vaikuntha, they are self-satisfied. People who are in Vaikuntha, they don't want to go to Golok. People who are in Golok, they don't want to come to Vaikuntha. They are fully satisfied. Otherwise, what's the meaning of Vaikuntha? Vaikuntha means without anxiety, no? They are satisfied in themselves. Just like Hanuman is satisfied serving Ram. He doesn't want to go to Golok and serve Krishna. So then what do you say? So, by a neutral sense, Golok is superior to Vaikuntha in the sense that there is more service attitude. That's all. Beyond this, I can't explain. And we can't even understand. And we can't understand beyond this. It's not possible.
Second thing I was asking you.
Just like I'll tell you, in India, people ask me, how is America? Oh, that place, it's so nice. And so I tell them, you have to go and see, what's nice about it. So you can't explain beyond a point now. You have to come and see. So that's Vaikuntha. You can go to a certain extent, but beyond that, suppose when in India I say, roads are very clean. In America, they're very clean. So I tell them, you can't even imagine how clean they are. They try to. Okay, Connaught Place, there's a place. So that much clean that I told, see, in India there's no road clean. The dirtiest road in America is most clean according to Indian standards. So they can't imagine. So you have to go and see. Similarly, we can describe, but we can't imagine. I mean to say, in Golok Vrindavan, water speaks. What do? When Krishna is walking with his friends and becomes thirsty, so the river, it senses Krishna is thirsty. And it takes form. It takes form of some friend, gives water, and again becomes a river. Now, what do you do with all these things? It's a magical word. We can't understand. We can talk. That's nice. And
I was asking, you think we can't choose our spiritual form? At the same time, the process which we follow or are supposed to follow is Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, which is to follow the footsteps.
No, we are not supposed to follow Raganuga. We are supposed to worship. That's what we were discussing. Pujala Ragpat Gaurava Bhange. That is entire teachings of Bhaktivedanta. His entire life was to fight with this one concept. We are not supposed to follow Raganuga Bhakti. His entire life he fought for this. Because all those Sahajyas, they were saying, Vedic Bhakti, forget it. All upper sampradayas are of this opinion. Raganuga Bhakti you have to follow. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in one of his songs, Vaidhi ati mand, Raganuga ati tivr. Vedic Bhakti is slow, Raganuga is fast. But slow and steady wins a race. Don't be too fast. There can be accidents. So the point is, we worship Raganuga Bhakti. We don't follow. We serve. Raganuga Bhakti, I told you Raganuga Bhakti is a gift. There are many gifts Krishna has. It's a gift. It is not in our eligibility to do that. We can't do that. See, it is common sense. I don't have to go to scriptures. There can be arguments. But you apply common sense. See. So what do you mean by Raganuga Bhakti?
Follow the footsteps of residents of Vrindavan.
No, some logic words. Raganuga Bhakti means spontaneous attraction, no? That's Raganuga Bhakti. Spontaneously you are attracted to Krishna as gopis and Vrindavan devotees are attracted. That's Raganuga. Raga means attraction. Raga, and that is spontaneous attraction. Now we don't have spontaneous attraction. We are following, when we follow rules and regulations, then we get attraction. If you stop following rules and regulations, your attraction goes from here to there. That happens, no? If you leave chanting for 6 days, after 6 days you'll be a demon, 100%. You can try. If we think we are devotees, that's nonsense. We are protected by holy name. Holy name is holding us. We are not holding him. We are also holding him, but he's holding us. He's making us devotees. You leave him and you see what you will become. In fact, Prabhupada's disciples, when Prabhupada went, they did the most nastiest thing which even normal person cannot do. The Prabhupada devotees, they initiated Prabhupada disciples. They opened brothels. You can imagine? They were running brothels. And then you might say, they are so fallen. We'll not do like this. No, we can do even worse than that. We are complete nonsense. We have to be convinced in that fact now. So, but okay, Krishna's mercy is holding us. So the point is, what's the point? What's the question? My memory is gone.
Well, I was making the question. I just began at like half step when you.
No, but what did you? Raganuga, yeah. So Raganuga means spontaneous attraction, yeah. Raganuga means even if you leave rules and regulations, still your attraction will go to Krishna. That's Raganuga. Vedhi is until you are following Vidhi. Vidhi means rules, regulations. Your attraction is going to, rules and regulations are directing your attraction to Krishna. You leave that, it goes there. Channelizing. So Raganuga is even without rules, regulations, your attraction is going. So Vrindavan, nobody follows rules, regulations. Nobody chanting 16 rounds. But still they get attracted. This is difference. So Raganuga means spontaneous attraction. Now, the point is that spontaneous attraction you can't get by yourself. No, you don't have control on your feelings. No, you don't have that. If you say we have to follow Raganuga Bhakti, how do you do that? You don't have, feelings are going. We have control on thoughts, but not of feelings. When lust comes, it comes. When enviousness comes, it comes. You can't control that. So that is why we can't follow Raganuga Bhakti. This statement is wrong. You can't follow. I mean to say, suppose a girlfriend, boyfriend is there. They are both loving each other. And you're seeing them. And that girlfriend and that boyfriend says, I love that girl. You love her? You say, I don't love her. So then he'll ask you, okay, try to love her as I love. Just focus. It can't happen, Love is at first sight. If you love, you love. If you don't love, you don't love. No. So feelings is not under control. That is why Krishna says, follow rules, regulations. I will fine-tune your feelings. So Raganuga Bhakti, you have to worship. You can't do anything. You can't follow. It's impossible. What do you do? You get my point? It's common sense.
However, I understand you saying that this whole statement is wrong, saying that we have to follow, but it will be given.
Yeah, it will be given. It's a gift.
And then one can follow.
Once it's given, then you can follow. Once it's given, then you can nurture that. Just like a baby. You can't get baby, just like that. You have to marry, then 9 months, then baby. If you keep on, Bhakti Santa used to say, simply by shouting, you can't get baby. You go to labor room. And you got baby? No, you have to do many things. You have to marry, then pregnancy, then baby. So there's a process. So similarly here, so we have to follow, then we get feeling. So it's a gift given by Krishna.
Well, is it in the course of following Vaidhi?
So one point I just want to mention. Raganuga Bhakti, there's feelings. Vaidhi Bhakti, there's intentions. So we have to keep our intent proper. That's under control, no? So what is under your control, you do that. Krishna will do the rest. I mean to say, see, if a brahmachari, full-time devotee, if you want to remain brahmachari, what do you do? What do you do? If you try to avoid women, you'll get married. 100%. Yeah, that's what Chanakya Pandit says. If you're thinking, I'll not marry, woman. Anyway, you're thinking about woman and you get married, no? So the best thing, if you want to remain brahmachari, you're not supposed to think of woman, yes or no. You're supposed to think of Krishna. And you forget everything, no? So then Krishna will take away all your feelings. So this same thing here, Same thing here. If you want to forget this word, material word, if you want to forget everything, focus on Krishna. He will give you all Raganuga Bhakti. That's the idea.
So that is the goal.
Yeah, that's a goal. Yeah, Raganuga Bhakti is a goal. It's not the process. Process is Vedhi. Goal is Raganuga.
So in the same sense, when we say like we cannot choose our spiritual form, but you can always read about them and be inspired to.
About what?
Like you were just reading about these ladies, and you're reading about Rishi Maharaj.
Yeah, you can read about them, and what you have to get from them, service attitude. That's what we have to understand. You don't have to get their glances. If you get their glances, then you're gone. So, process, principles, and not the process. That is philosophy. Take the principles, not the process. Process we have to worship. Principles we have to follow. That is Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, Karma Yoga Jnana Yoga. Okay, so the last question then, everybody.
And you talked about something that was talking about like cultivating these certain feelings that are not there, like the spontaneous service, like a being organism, like you cultivate it and then it manifests. So that's not possible.
No, you have to cultivate intent,
The intent.
not the feeling. Feeling, it's not under control. Feeling comes by itself, no? What do you do?
Right. What it is.
And you can't even get rid of those feelings. We can't do anything. So there's a saying in English: fools trespass those where angels tread to fear. You heard this? Yeah, I've heard this. Fools go to that place where even angels fear to go. So this all realm of feelings, it is not under our control. It will be foolishness to control all these things. You'll go mad. We'll invest all. Better focus Krishna. Intent. That is Vedhi. Sincerity of purpose. We were reading yesterday. That's all. Yes, Prabhu.
Andrew Prabhu says in his book, you can follow
Hare Krishna.